Here are my 3 tips for finding the right wrongful termination attorney for your case, no matter what city and state you're in. Tip number 1. Despite all the technological advances out there, the best way to find the right attorney for your case remains the same today as it has been over the past many decades or even hundreds of years, and that's word of mouth. Ask your present and former coworkers, ask your friends, and ask your relatives whether they had to work with an employment or wrongful termination attorney, or whether they know someone who has or who had a case with an attorney who they were happy with. And then try to talk to that attorney. Do not rely so much on fancy advertisements, billboards, and sharp websites. Just because a particular attorney or a law firm have a beautiful, colorful website or a nice, large advertisement on a street or on a bus or in a phone book, doesn't mean that that attorney is good or that attorney is good for your case. It simply means that they have a good marketing team or a good web designer, and that has nothing to do with their legal expertise. I guess the only other source that's just as reliable as word of mouth is Yelp. If an attorney has a lot of good Yelp reviews, then he's probably a good attorney that makes a lot of people, a lot of clients happy. And in a sense, that's even more reliable than word of mouth, because you have an opinion of not just one person, but of a bunch of different people, assuming that all these reviews are real and legitimate. My tip number 2, do not rush and do not act as if you have to do everything in one day. There is a reason why the law provides you with sufficient time to file a claim against your present or former employer. A lot of people who are terminated, they're so angry and so frustrated and so impatient that they're trying to hire an attorney and file a lawsuit as soon as humanly possible. There's no rush in doing that because the process takes a while anyway. It takes at least a few months, and usually it takes up to a year or more to go from the beginning till the end of the case, when the case is hopefully settled or resolved otherwise. You need to make sure that you have a strategy, that you find the right attorney, that you have the right evidence that you need to prove your employment or wrongful termination case. There is no reason to do it all within a few days or a week after being terminated. It's important that you talk to a number of attorneys in order to make sure that you find the best attorney for your case. It's important that you understand what your claims are and what your claims are not, and how strong your case is, so that you make the most informed and the best decision. It doesn't mean that you have to wait for a year or two, but it's a good idea to make sure that your initial anger and frustration go away, and you don't do anything and you don't hire an attorney out of anger and impatience. And my 3rd tip is this: don't make your decisions about hiring an attorney based on a relatively insignificant difference in their fee structure. If one attorney charges 35% contingency and the other one charges 40%, or if one attorney charges $1,500 in retainer and the other attorney charges $2,500 in retainer, it should not be the most important factor in deciding which attorney to go with. A far more important factor is which person you think you'll be more comfortable to work with, which person seems to be more responsive and easier to get a hold of, and above all, which person seems to be more knowledgeable in employment law, who seems like they know what they're talking about. And one important thing to look at is how many different areas of law a particular attorney is practicing in. If someone is in 2 or 3 areas of law, then chances are that he knows employment law fairly well. But if somebody puts on their website or in their office a list of 10 or 15 areas of law, chances are that he doesn't know a whole lot about employment law, and it can hurt you in so many ways. That attorney might not bring the claims that he should bring, or he might not be able to tell you that you don't have a case when you don't, and you will end up spending a lot of time, emotional and financial resources pursuing a claim that's meritless, that's nothing good is going to come out of. So keep these 3 tips in mind when you're looking for a wrongful termination attorney, and you will likely make a far better decision about who you hire. Thank you.